Okay guys, so we're continuing on that Plymouth. So I had to make some different shocks because I altered that rear end. So I'm going to show you how I made these. I don't know if it's focusing or not. Anyways, we're going to make this shock. So this is adjustable. You can move this in and out. And very quick, easy. I'll show you how we do it here quick. Okay, in order to get started, we're going to need some of this. Some 0.039 music wire, and we're going to need some hollow aluminum tubing. This is 3/32, and I'm using the 80 thousandths round rod. A file comes in handy, and we're using the pen drill set. That's just my little macro set I got here. So we're using, I believe we're using the 58, number 58 drill bit, and it's like so. And it's going to be handy to have a razor saw of some sort if you guys have one of these. The nice thing about using this is to cut this pipe, this aluminum, because you can't crush it with pliers because it's hollow, so you'll crush it. And or if you have a Dremel, works also okay. The only problem I found with this though, it's hard to get a really straight cut, and you got to make sure you start with a long piece and start at the end, because that tube will get extremely hot very fast. So I find it's just easier to cut it with the razor saw because it cuts like super quick. All right, so other than that, and you're also going to need a X-Acto blade with a good blade on it, X-Acto knife, and that should do us. Oh, I forgot one more thing. We're going to need something to put this together with, so I use the super glue. So these are items you're going to need to make one of these. Now, if you want to paint yours whatever color, I did paint this one with the Tamiya LP8, and I used their Monocle pen to paint the chrome. So these are the items I used to make this guy. Like I say, it's hard to bring that in focus. Anyways, there we have it. One last item you're probably going to need is a Sharpie, if you decide to go that route. So there's different ways to do this. So I'll show you what I got going on with my Roadrunner. I did custom axle work underneath of it, and I had to put a aluminum drive shaft in, which I'd show you here. So all in all, in the end, I had to put different shocks on it. I didn't have to put shocks on, but just thought, hey, why not? We're going this far. This is the underneath the car. So here's my custom axle I got in here so far. I put a NASCAR axle in to accommodate the wide wheels. Put some, almost like a block, kind of like you use in a four-wheel drive truck. So what I'm going to do is put these on an angle, these new shocks that I built, and I'm going to build one more. I'm going to use the one I got. So they're going to go in along the bottom here. Easier once I get them all placed in, put in place here. Now the emblem I put on there, or the decal, that is also off the old NASCAR sheet. So I had this here. I'm sure you guys got many decals laying around. So I stole this one from here. I have no idea even what the brand is or what it's for. Let me get my glass on because I can't see. Speed Pro. So whatever Speed Pro is, I'm not sure what that brand is for. I thought it would look nice and put on my shock. Obviously it doesn't matter what it is, just something that would fit. Like I said, probably one of these NASCARs I'm probably not going to build. I got tons of them from back in the day. So I just cut that off and went with that. It'd be cool if I had some older decal sheets that had the Monroe stickers on them. I thought that would have been really neat. Or whatever color shock you're going to do, you can obviously paint it whatever color you want to go with. So other than that, let's get started and we'll build that second shock. So we'll start with our tubing. So it's a piece left over from the last one I just worked on. And like I say, we're going to take our razor saw, and I want this obviously close to the one I just built. So we're going to go with that. I didn't add this into my list of things we need, but yeah, I did add this. We need a Sharpie. So this aluminum rod, if you guys buy this, the one thing I did notice, when you take it out of the package, it's all, well, mine was, it was so glued in. This is aluminum, so it bends like really easy. So you just gotta be careful of that. That out of the way. Now, if you have one of these, it's nice too if you have the little miter box. I have one here. Where it's at, I have no idea. So we're just gonna do it by hand. So when you're cutting these, just make sure you watch it. You don't cut something off your table. And like I say, it cuts pretty easy. Just try to keep it straight as you can. And once you get going, you can bend it. Like I say, it cuts so easy. And we're through. So just take the rest, so just bend it off. This is where our sandpaper comes in, or a little sanding stick. Give a nice little edge. Clean the sides up a little bit. A little more. Like I say, this is just aluminum, so it cuts pretty easy. So there you have it, nice clean edge. And I'll make sure I got the other side good too here. Okay, so there's that part. So now for the little ends, this is where our styrene tubing comes in, our round stock. So before we cut this, we're going to take our pen drill, and like I say, I'm sure there's other ways to do this, guys, but this just works for me. We're just going to start and put a small hole here, and I don't need to go all the way through, just something to get going on. And this is why I'm doing this first, so obviously I can hang on to it, and at this point I don't care where it goes in at, just as long as I'm getting it somewhat straight. So I'll rotate this and roll it, and you don't have to go in all the way, just enough to make a mark. Okay, so the purpose of that hole is for when we put the rod in. The rod's going to go in that hole, so it helps support it. So now we got that cut, or I'm sorry, now we got that drilled. I'm going to take and cut an edge off in here. So I don't care about that. And that went across the room somewhere, I'm sure. This side we do care about. So we can hang on to it right there. So it's that piece. Move them off the side. Now we're going to take another one and cut the same thing. But we don't need a hole in this one. Now if you want to get creative and drill holes in it and put pins in it to actually use it like a real shock, obviously you could do that as well. It didn't cut very good. So we're done with this. So now this here, we take our super glue. Yeah, I like this with the straw on it. Nice, nice. A little bit on the end here. And I'll just touch this on the end of here, just pick it up. Like so. And before that completely cures, we get about 8 second window with super glue. Is that the golden rule? We have that. So we're gonna let that dry for a minute, and we'll move on to our next piece. Okay, so now we're gonna take our steel rod, which I have a piece out already, right here, and we're just gonna cut a piece off the end of it. There's 2 ways to cut this. Now this is where the die grinder does come in, or I'm sorry, the Dremel does come in pretty good. Or you can try to use some kind of nippers. These are rail nippers for railroad. It doesn't actually, you're not actually supposed to cut wire with them, because if you do, you get these messed up holes in them. So I have a couple of these. So these are now my sprue nippers as well. So we can go and just cut off. You don't have to get too carried away with it. You want to keep it somewhat simple, somewhat similar to that. So we can cut it about there. I think I did cut this with the Dremel last time because this does cut pretty hard. So we'll cut this real quick. Make sure you got some safety glasses on. Okay, so now we're going to just clean the edges up here a little bit. So like so. Alright. If you want, you can also take and give it just a little fine tuning. Like that. Alright, so now this is where the other piece we drilled. That's where that comes in. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue here. A little bit on the end. Or a lot. A little dab will do you. That's the one we drilled the hole in, so this is where this is going to go. Like so. So. Alright, so there's that piece. We'll let that tack for a minute. And obviously the shock at this point is pretty much done. So I'm just going to slide in here. There you have it, one shock. How easy and simple is that? So nice thing about this, you can make this any length you want or anything like that. Now you can get a different rod that would fit this a little tighter. This is just all I happen to have here at the house without having to go to someplace to get some. So if I had the next smaller tube or the next larger diameter music wire or the steel rod they have, it'd probably fit a little tighter because you can see it's got a little bit of play in it. But that's alright, like I say, once I glue it, you never know it. So from this point, I'm just going to take and paint this. And when that paint dries, I just put a little dot right there for the kind of simulate the bolt. And this side here, paint that as well. And I take Malto marker and just give that a little chrome effect. And that is it, guys. So just a simple, quick way for a shock. Alright guys, we're going to paint this up real quick. So I take my other piece of rod, slide this in, gives me something to hold on to it. And like I say, we're going to do this in the yellow. So we're just using the Tamiya. We'll give it a couple good coats. I can see I don't have that piece on 100% square, but so like I say, you do the shock any color you want. There's that. So we'll throw that in the oven for a minute. We'll do the other side. Nice thing being lacquer, it should dry pretty fast. Of course, I notice lacquer when you brush it on, it's not as fast as it is when you spray it. Something like that. So I'll just take and do a couple chrome shots here. Yeah, something like that. Like I say, you can go as detailed as you want to get. Alright. We'll bake this and we'll be right back. Alright, so we're going to put a little decal on this. Like I said, we're going to steal this guy right here. It's got some white lettering on there, so I'll make sure I don't get that in there. Okay. Alright. Okay, a little water action. Nothing I should have mentioned earlier, and I know most of you guys probably have this, or the micro scale microsol, because this decal doesn't really want to wrap around there too good when you first put it on. So I like to put the decal on wherever how this is going to bolt up to, so that way it's going to be where you can see it. Get this on the other side. like so. Kind of give it that little cool look, you know what I mean? A little micro saw on there. Should be good to go. Okay, so I got our decal on it. I'm gonna pick it up for you. Obviously it's there. Alright, let's go get our other piece out of the oven and we can put it together and stick it on the car. I stuck that in the oven for a second just to help cure that quick. And there you have it, one shock. Just like so. Now we can take our black marker and just put a dot on the edge of it, like say to simulate a bolt. And then you can go ahead and put it on the car. There we have it. Alright, I'll get this put on and I'll show you what they look like. Okay guys, so there's our shocks. Those turned out pretty nice. Like I say, you can spend a little more time getting those end pieces. This one here, I didn't get it quite 100% centered. You know, just the way it goes, I guess. I'm impatient sometimes. But yeah, those look pretty good. The nice thing is you can make them any size you want. So what I did is I just tacked the glue on here, and I could slide them down to any position I want. Just put a little tack on the bottom, and there you go. So it's nice. You don't have to have them like perfectly like, ooh, I got it just right length. You can adjust them as you go. Especially if you're doing customized work. Like I said, I'm going to do a pulling truck here pretty quick. So those will work nice making something like that. And pretty quick and easy. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this up. And I appreciate you tuning in. So hey, if you guys aren't a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know, if you're already a subscriber, I appreciate everybody that has subscribed to the channel and has been tuning in so far. So this is the Plymouth build for the USACC group build. I wasn't going to do another show on this, but like I say, I started really altering the back of this thing, and yeah, so that's where that ended up at. So other than that, once again, you guys have a good one, and we will see you the next time around. Thanks for watching.